guys, welcome to my channel, welcome back to my channel. Alrighty guys, so today's video I wanted to talk about little tips and tricks that I think you guys would find helpful in terms of looking for a job when you're in college. When is the perfect time to be looking, what websites you should be using, how you can update your resume, how you can get started when you're a freshman in college. Just little tips and tricks that you can do along the way that hopefully you find helpful. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe down below and give this video a big thumbs up if you guys like this content. And without making the intro too long, let's get right into the video. More than anything, I will be sharing things that I didn't do that I wish I did and I saw my peers do. And because I had other plans, I honestly didn't even think about doing them. So I hope you guys don't make the same mistakes I did and you guys will find this video helpful. So the first tip I would recommend is if you are a senior in college and you're watching this video right now, start looking for a job right now. If you know you are graduating in the spring, you know you're walking, you'll be done by spring or even summer, but you'll be done before August, start looking for a job right now. The best time to look for a job is probably the summer before your senior year or the fall semester. A lot of employers are looking and scouting for people who are about to graduate, especially if you're working in the business world, like at finance companies or accounting companies, or for consulting companies. A lot of these jobs will look for people around this time frame. So right now would be a good time to start looking at the companies that you would like to work for, what positions they have, and see how your qualifications match their requirement. The second tip I would recommend is make sure your resume is up to date, have a cover letter ready, or at least a template of it so you can just fill in the gaps and information whenever you need it, and also have a CV. So if you don't know what a CV is, it's a curricula vitae, and it basically outlines everything that you've done in your education. Have you spoken at a conference before? Have you published a book or a journal or something of that sort? Have you published anything? Do you volunteer places? Have you done a lot of public speaking? So all of that is really cool and nice to highlight. That way they can see that you're using your skills in multiple different levels of areas, and depending on what field you're applying for, a curricula vitae, a CV may or may not be useful, but you should have one nonetheless to make yourself stand out. So my third tip is good for anyone, whether you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior. I would highly recommend this if you are a freshman or even a sophomore, is go ahead and sign up to be a part of a conference or a research symposium, somewhere where you can showcase that you have done your research on a social aspect and that you have proposed a plan to fix it. So this is really cool to have, and it's a really awesome experience and an awesome way to kind of talk about things that you've done in college, to show that not only are you learning all this information, and yes, your grades are awesome, but you're finding a way to find a solution to impact a community around you. So this is a perfect way to become engaged and involved in the community and try to find a solution to something that you see that there's a problem. For instance, I was a part of a research symposium and I did mine on how there's a lack of legal representation in low-income communities. So I focused my research on that and tried to show how there's programs that should be funded, or programs that I'm a part of that prove to show that there is a good impact on that, a positive impact. So that's just one example. There's a bunch of other research that you could do. Find something that you're passionate about and do your research on that and try to find a solution to that. That's a great thing to have on your resume for grad school or even finding a job. It's a great way to talk about with your employers. This is really great for those of you who are in social sciences. My fourth tip is kind of going back. Make sure your resume is up to date. Make sure you have keywords that highlight any experience that you've had and kind of just make yourself sound amazing, top notch. And really what you're trying to do is you're trying to sell yourself on your resume. A lot of the times people will look at your resume for 5-10 seconds. So you want to make sure that it's a very clean and crisp layout, that there's no crazy fonts, it's not too big, it's not too small, it's not too a lot of information in a small area. Try to make it very clean, very easy to read. So just make sure your resume overall is very precise and gives good information about you using keywords, but also is aesthetically pleasing, because when people are looking at resumes quickly, the last thing you want is to make yours so complicated to read because it's going all over the place. And my last tip are specific websites that I think you should all use when looking for jobs and internship. My main one is Indeed. That one is amazing for finding full-time jobs. There's so many jobs that you can find. If you are looking for a specific area or just a specific keyword, I have a video specifically showing how I looked for full-time jobs without a master's required. I'll link that down below. I didn't take any of those jobs just because they weren't in the areas that I was looking for, but I basically showed you guys how you can find jobs using that website in a sense. So I'll link that down below if you guys want to see. Another one is to use Handshake. Now this is the one that is mostly beneficial to those of you who are still in school and your school offers this website. So what Handshake is the place where employers are able to post job postings and job openings, and that way it's easy for students to go ahead and apply. So these are already companies who want to work with students who are just about to graduate, post their qualifications and their requirements, and a lot of the times they reach out to you. So this is a great resource. You just put in whatever type of keywords you want. So if you want to be in LA or San Diego, San Francisco, New York, wherever you want to be in, or keywords like accounting, consulting, social services, legal field, whatever it is that you're looking for, this website is very helpful. In addition to that, it should be linked with your school, so it'll have the specific job hosting events that your school may have, and that way you're able to enroll. For instance, mine had a event where it was a career fair, so I was able to sign up with that. Which reminds me, if your school is hosting a career fair, attend that career fair. Make sure you're dressed business professional or even business casual. Make sure you're looking the part, have your resume on hand. That way you're able to hand these people your resume and they can have a face to your name. And then you can go back and fill out those applications later and write them an email saying, "Hi Tammy, I met you at the career fair at Cal State San Marcos, and I just wanted to thank you for telling me more about the company and giving me the opportunity to give you my resume," something like that. That way they have your contact information, and when you fill out your application, they can be like, "Oh yeah, this is the person that I met at the job fair." A lot of my friends have found full-time jobs from attending those job fairs, so I highly recommend going if your school does offer one. But going back to Handshake, so yes, use Indeed, use Handshake. Another great resource is LinkedIn. So not only is that your online resume, but it allows you to connect with your previous employers. So if you interned at a company or at a law firm or wherever you interned while you were in college or while you worked there, you're able to connect with not only your past employers but also your peers. So you can, if you put on there like, "Oh, I'm very skilled in communicating with large masses," someone who knows you professionally can go ahead and endorse you. So that way it shows that you're not just putting that information out there, that there's people who are basically backing you up and validating what you're saying. In addition, like I mentioned, it is your online resume, so there's a lot of employers who can just look at your resume and see if you would be a good fit or not. So LinkedIn is another great opportunity and a great resource to use when looking for full-time jobs. I hope you guys enjoyed these few tips and tricks. Something that I didn't do was look for jobs in the fall. I didn't start looking for jobs until after I graduated, and it was kind of hard because a lot of the jobs were already taken. So if there's anything that I learned, is the earlier you start, the better. And when I said that it doesn't matter how early you start interning at places you think you would want to work. Even if it's not paid, if you have the opportunity to intern somewhere in the field that you're wanting to do, go ahead and do that, because a lot of the jobs, for instance, I was qualified for them at law firms because I did years working in a family law office. So when employers were asking for 2, 3, 4 years of family law experience, I was able to offer that, and I was able to go ahead and apply. Or when people were offering, for instance, for the job I have now as a translator, I needed experience in translating and interpreting, and luckily because I worked at the court, I did a lot of doing such translating and interpreting, and I took a course in that in college. All these little things really add up to your experience, so don't sell yourself short just because you feel, oh, I only interned, I didn't do much, I wasn't getting paid. That doesn't matter. If you're working for these people and you're learning these key skills, these are things you can use in the future to get yourself jobs. So anything that you did in college, keep note of that, whether it's tutoring because you thought you wanted to be a teacher, or working somewhere because you thought you wanted to go into a different kind of field. It doesn't matter. Everything in the end comes back to you, and you're able to use everything as some sort of positive experience. So don't think any of that is a waste of time. If you can, I've mentioned this before, start interning as soon as possible, and that way a lot of the times these internships can turn into full-time jobs. So don't underestimate the value of an internship. And if you are a junior or a senior in college, please start looking now. That way you guys have ample time to look for full-time jobs. Look out for companies that you want to work for and scout the recruiters. The recruiters are great people to reach out to. They can answer a lot of your questions. So do not underestimate the value of starting early. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, leave them down below. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.